There's a planning for the shows and films too. It's kind of like planning for war and stuff. But there's a certain amount of when the season's over with, there's probably a phase of things that you guys go through. And it's probably similar every year, right? I imagine it's meetings first and then it's broken out from that. So what do you guys go through there?
So you're talking about Kersey Valley, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
we
with the
sleep
hunted,
a lot first after it's over.
Yeah, try and sleep. Actually, right afterwards, we immediately begin. And it used to be the first discussion was, what can we create that's new? We don't do that anymore. The first discussion now is always, how can we improve? What did we do wrong? How did we fail? Because inevitably there's going to be an aspect of your art when you look back at it that you want to try and tweak, and if we have the opportunity to examine it and find our faults, then we can correct those things. And we don't do it based off of our own personal opinions. We do it by outsourcing that information. We ask our guests, we ask the employees, the performers, what was your experience like? How can we make your experience better? And they build the guidelines for what the next season will be. Then we'll begin the script process, which is a very long process, where it's kind of all knights of the round table come together and share their own armor, everyone's ideas. And then we have to try and develop concepts fully off of those ideas. We're very excited. Whether or not we'll open the season is to be determined, but I can say for certain our company is the kind of company will do everything in our power to keep even if it's just our local guests coming and entertain and having something to do, even if it's on a small scale. We aim to continue to in any facet we're allowed to stay open, and there is a process in plan, and we are waiting to hear more on that. But
yeah, I didn't even consider that.
When do you guys when's your season normally start? Is it late summer?
September.
I feel like you guys are gonna be fine.
Yeah.
This is a totally different topic, but my casino host, he's been doing it a long time. He reached out to me yesterday evening, and so every casino in the United States is closed, right?
Yeah.
But they've been getting information from a high-level source. They're already planning all their events to start back at the end of June. That's when they're planning to be opening in June, but they're planning their events starting end of June. And there's going to be some restrictions in place, but basically what he was saying was that he thought we had essentially the next 2 months we're weaning off this, and then there might be some things, but maybe even with Kersey Valley, maybe it's just some of those things like smaller crowds at one time. But I think you guys do small groups, right?
We do, absolutely.
Yeah, so
Your guests may have to wear masks.
yeah.
Like face masks.
And maybe you're only allowing so many into the thing at one time.
That's right.
So I think you're still, by then, hopefully, we're...
Yeah, hope so.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Plus the cooler weather. Well, actually, that's probably the worst time, actually.
Yeah.
Fall, yeah.
Throughout the history of doing the shows, it's flu season.
Yeah.
If kids are going back to school, or adults going back to school, that may contaminate. Things that begin to open up sometimes might help trade hands, but we have to rely on the department of what have you to tell us the do's and don'ts. All we can do at this point is speculate and dream.
Yeah. We have to put plexiglass walls in front of each exhibit.
Yeah. Well, we have discussed every option we could, drive-throughs, space
drive-through
performance, interactive digital performances.
Oh.
If Walmart's allowed to have 1,400 people in it, and Lowe's Hardware, and
yes,
I feel like the rules aren't being equally applied. So hopefully by late summer, some of this is ironed out, because the ABC store, I'm not a drinker, but when you go by and every spot in the parking lot's full, and the next neighboring business, and they're all walking to the ABC store, and Lowe's has every parking spot full, Walmart has every parking spot full. Like, you start to see that, and you're like,
I've thought about the ABC thing, but that's pretty essential, though, because
Well,
you can imagine a lot of people withdrawing from alcohol.
It's not even a question of essential for me. It's
or not having alcohol in this situation.
It's the no more than 10 people, no more than it's all these rules. Like, how do you have? And I'm not going to name which Walmart, but I've been to multiple. How do you have a Walmart parking lot that does not have one spot that you can visibly see from? So from
Right.
like up on the hill or entering, and you see, and it looks like it reminds me of like Black Friday,
Yeah.
right? That's what it reminds me of. Lowe's Hardware. I encourage you, go to a Lowe's Hardware.
Oh, it's packed. Yeah.
Yeah, go on a
I-
Saturday.
Just wear a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
No, I mean you don't have to go in. Go
Yeah.
go to the parking lot, and tell me it's not the most busy you have ever seen a Lowe's Hardware in your life.
Everyone's doing home work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially on the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not dogging it. I'm just saying like there's a double standard here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, the science clearly shows that wearing masks is the way to go, and that
Yeah.
should be the requirement in public.
Yeah.
Because the studies are also showing that there's a lot more. There will be a lot more fatalities or mortality, a higher mortality rate based on people not being able to work and
Yeah.
provide and stopping the economy. But you know, I don't know. It's a weird time.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
It is.
Yeah.